Hello, hello. Welcome to our coffee talk. Today's Thursday, so what do? We come and bring you information. I'm lost. Okay, great. Can't start a coffee talk without a sip of coffee. Okay. So thanks for joining me for another conversation topic of mortgage, real estate, investment. So welcome to Coffee Talk. Let me ask you something. Do you love your mortgage rate? But secretly, you actually hate parts of your house. Like your kitchen feels outdated, the bathroom drives you crazy. Your backyard is not giving yet the summer vibes, and we are approaching. So maybe you're saying because you love the low mortgage rate. I actually hear a lot of clients feeling trapped that way. But the house doesn't quite feel like your life anymore, like you've outdated it. So I want you to comment, stay if that sounds like you. And while we at it, you know the drill when it comes to YouTube. Share this with a homeowner who keeps saying they want to renovate but haven't figured out how to pay for it yet. Because today, I have a solution for them. Now, my background kind of gives it away a little bit. So I came across this stat and thought this is such a relevant conversation for right now, especially as we're heading into the summer. According to Realtor.com, 54%, so where's my pointer? Here you go. 54% of homeowners are using a home equity loan or HELOC for home projects. Meanwhile, 29% are using their personal savings and only 10% are using credit cards. And honestly, that makes sense. Because if you're putting $25,000 to $40,000 of renovation on high interest rate credit cards, it's probably not the best move. But what stood out for me is this. More than half of homeowners are tapping into equity instead of moving. And I get why. Because so many homeowners are saying, I love my mortgage rate and I'm not giving it up. Can any of you relate to this? So today's May 20th. Whenever you're watching this, maybe beginning of summer or who knows when it is. But topic is because summer is coming right now. Kids, graduation, so they're out of school. People are entertaining, and the travel costs are super expensive. So honestly, a lot of people are creating a staycation type home and type of feel. So instead of saying we have to move, we are people are asking, how do we make this home work better for us? And I think that's actually very smart because not only are you investing into your feeling of your home, feeling great, you're investing into your property in case you need to sell or you need to have an appraisal done for whatever reasons, right? So that improvement, you're reinvesting into your home. So let's be real. Some of the frustrations homeowners are having right now, love the payment, but not the house anymore. I'm talking about you not loving it anymore. The bathroom feels old, the kitchen doesn't function, the backyard isn't enjoyable for the summer. You may need an office space, or your family dynamics changed. It's newborn, or kids are outgrowing the house. Parents are moving in. Kids are getting older and they need more room, or the house feels cramped. You don't want to drain your savings. Credit cards are expensive, but at the same time, you're saying, I do not want to give up my 3, 4, or even 5% mortgage. And honestly, I really don't blame you. So, a lot of homeowners are choosing stay and improve. Because if you're staying another 3, 5 years, or even 10 years, why not actually enjoy where you live? So I'm seeing people improve kitchens, bathrooms, like I said, outdoor livings, home offices, floors, even the roofing, window impacts for our Florida people, hurricane preparations, right? Because let's be honest, if this is your sanctuary for the next few years, you want to make it feel good. So another reason people are using the equity in their home, they're getting the house ready to sell. So getting the home market ready. And this is huge. Maybe the house, like I said, may need some painting, flooring, maybe not the all upgrades that you are wishing for your own self, but that appeal, paint, flooring, landscaping, lighting, kitchen refresh, bathroom touch-ups, and sometimes a few strategic improvements can potentially help the home sell faster or stronger. You've heard the curb appeal. That is very important when you are looking to actually sell your house. So again, I said strategy, because you're not going to make all those major improvements that are costing and not have a return on investment. And this is where it helps to have a realtor to guide you. Okay, what is important for me to make improvements to have that curb appeal? And at the same time, as a lender, will this actually make sense? Because the house will have to appraise. Some of those improvements will always make sense for the money you've had to invest. So be strategic. Okay. Another thing I'm seeing is more people who have family changes. Parents are moving in. I actually have a client right now. Her father is moving into her condo, and because the family size has increased, she's now buying her house and having to expand. So adult kids are also staying longer because of the cost of rentals and housing. So people also need separate space, a little bit more privacy. So homeowners are saying, can we convert this room? Can we add a bathroom? Can we create a separate living area without touching the amazing first mortgage? Because, by the way, there are loans that you can do renovation financing for, but the rate will change from what you have at 3 or 4%. Then you also need to have a contractor approve and going through all of the requirements for a lender. But when you pull your equity, you have the freedom to actually go a little bit more into what's more important to you. You can hire someone that may not be as costly as having a general contractor. So using the line of credit instead of going into a renovation loan might be best if you have access to the equity. Okay. Now the one is hidden is there's some people who don't talk about enough of the following: having access to equity before an emergency. And I'm pausing here because I just actually had a call from a client who needed or he needs to go ahead and access the equity because of health reasons and not sure how long she's going to be away from work. So that's an emergency, but there's also emergency for the hurricane season. Maybe the roof needs repair. And I pause again because in Georgia we don't have hurricane, but a lot of times that hurricane becomes, as it goes north, the wind, the weather increments can actually impact the property, and now you have to have access to emergency repairs, flooding, things of that nature that maybe your insurance company is not um, taking up on those repairs. So major repairs pop-ups, AC may go out. Just recently had that in my rental in Georgia. Some people are liking to have access to the equity, but because they may not have planned, they may not have access to it. So plan ahead, have that reserve because it gives you peace of mind. And honestly, sometimes it's best to have explored those options before it actually is something that you urgently need because now you might be in panic mode. So let's go into what is a line of credit, a HELOC. Now, if someone is listening, thinking, okay, Christelle, you keep saying HELOC, line of credit, I keep hearing it, but what does it stand for? So it's a home equity line of credit. And think of it like this. It's like a credit card based on your home equity. So it's a line of credit based or taken as a collateral from your line of credit. Kind of like having access to funds. So I tell my clients, if you do a 30-year loan or HELOC, lien, let's just call it a lien so we don't confuse loan and line of credit. The first 5 years, you can use it like a credit card. So it's almost like a hybrid. And you don't have to refinance your first mortgage. I want to emphasize that. Your first mortgage, you still have your payments and everything remains the same there. We're just adding a second debt. Okay, but you want to have a strategy on how you're using that debt. And it can be for your renovations, like we've talked about. It could be for some debt consolidations because you may have some personal loans or credit cards that are higher than that line of credit, that HELOC. It may be for future opportunities. It may be for emergencies and for your investment goals. I have a client who just closed on Tuesday. She had access to a line of credit last year, did not really use it. She was looking for properties, finally found it, but she had access to equity. She didn't have a payment on it because she kept it at a zero balance. She did not really need it right then, but now that she was able to find a property that she loved, she was able to access the equity. Okay. So now each product is a bit different, so you really want to know upfront all that is necessary. Now, I'm curious. If money wasn't the issue, what is one thing you would change in your home this summer? Would it be the kitchen, the bathroom, the backyard? I love a curb appeal. Would you add a pool? Not necessarily the best reinvestment, but again, this is if you're staying in your home. Would it be a closet to reorganize? Would it be an office space because now you would like to work from home, family side, family change, and now you need the dynamic of accessing your workspace while you're at home, but not in the living room, right? So go ahead and put in the comments, which one would you do? Now, let me ask another question. Are you team stay and renovate, or are you team I'm out of here, Christelle, move? So tell me below. I genuinely want to know. Some of those words are challenging for me to say because in French it's like I read them sometimes in French, genuinely, but that's not even a French word, Christelle. Oh my gosh. All right. So team stay and renovate or team move. And if someone popped into your mind while listening to this, please share with them this information because chances are they are talking about renovations. And chances are you may be telling them, hey, it might be time to renovate, but you don't have a solution. This can be the solution for them. So they might have been frustrated in their home and now they're wondering, how can I actually do this? You come with a solution. So talk to Christelle. Let's get that line of credit. See what is possible. All right, so comment equity or send me a message. You find all my information in my bio. Okay, no pressure. I'm here to share information, get you ready. And I actually had a client who said, I bank with such and such bank. I'm wondering what they can offer. I'm like, well, you have a 630 credit score. I can still help you. A lot of banks might not. So I'm also saying that if you went to your bank for line of credit and they denied you because of your credit score or for other reasons, don't say you can't have it. We have access to other opportunities that maybe the banks might not have. So reach out for me to help you with this. Okay. Next topic. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove this background. Okay. All right. This is my coffee talk question. Mhm. Did you think that after buying your first home, you suddenly need 20% down to buy your next property? Because honestly, a lot of people think, well, I'm not a first time buyer anymore. I probably need a ton of money now. And there's no way I can buy this house and keep this house and buy another. So those are the questions that people think either in the back of their mind or they even say out loud. But what if you may be able to keep your current home, turn it into a rental, use some of your equity if needed, and buy your next primary residence with as little as 3%, 3.5%, or even 5% down? So please go ahead and comment next home if owning another property has actually crossed your mind, even if you're not sure, but it crossed your mind. And share this with someone who keeps saying, you know, we have outgrown this house, but the rates, the down payments is just crazy because this may be completely a game changer for them. All right. I think one of the biggest misconception right now is this. I missed my chance, or I bought once but buying again is way harder. So honestly, I get why people think that. Because when you bought your first house, everyone talked about first time buyer programs, low down payment options, Grants, FHA, 3%. And now you're like, well, I'm not a first-time buyer anymore. So you assume this chapter is over. So not necessarily. So let me ask you, does it sound familiar? You love your mortgage, your current mortgage rate, but you're outgrowing the house. The family changed. Maybe a divorce, family size increase, in-laws or family members moving in. You want a different area, but saving a massive down payment feels impossible. And you're thinking, I also don't want to sell the house. It has a good rate, a good payment. But how could I possibly afford the next one? Especially if your current mortgage, like I said, is 3, 4%, or even in the low fives. Can any of you relate to this? If you do, I'm not going to say subscribe, but please do subscribe. But honestly, let's talk about strategy about this. A lot of homeowners right now are saying, why would I sell instead of they're exploring, keep the current house as a rental? Why would you keep your current house as a rental? Because, well, you love the mortgage rate. That means when you're going to be renting, you most likely going to get a profit monthly in the cash flow because your rate is low, your payment is low. Not really many people are getting $1,500 mortgage payments right now. I would say most people don't, unless they have a large down payment. But you may have a payment currently that's less than $2,000, which is keeping you trapped. But I can tell you, your rent may help offset that payment and even give you a surplus. Home values have increased, so now you can access equity. You can keep that house and have a good reason for it. It becomes part of a long-term wealth building. And honestly, sometimes they only make minor updates before renting. You just need fresh paint, touch up on the floor, maybe a carpeting change, some small repairs, bathroom refresh, curb repair. Just smaller. This is not to sell. This is to rent. So keep in mind, tenants don't keep up with the property the same as you do. Some of them do, most of them don't. So just enough to help maximize the rent and attract the good tenants. Okay. And here's part of many homeowners don't realize your house may already contain part of your down payment for the next home. Meaning, instead of thinking, I have to save every dollar from scratch, sometimes the conversation becomes, could my equity help in getting this house ready, but also giving you down payment for the next purchase? You may do this through a HELOC, a line of credit, and some other strategies to access the equity. And yes, using your home as a collateral is absolutely okay to purchase your next home because no, you cannot borrow money to buy a home, but a line of credit or the refinance cash out, like accessing from the equity in your home, it is totally okay. Real estate investors do it all the time. The key is do the math before you actually move forward. Your strategies do matter. All right. Low down payments options still exist. What do you mean? Oh, I'm buying my next home. I already own a house. I'm not a first-time buyer. Yes, but you don't always need 20% down. Let me give you some examples. Sometimes people qualify for conventional 5% down. Don't have to be a first-time buyer. Or FHA 3.5%. So let's say your first home, you bought it as a conventional. You can buy an FHA house or house with FHA financing, 3.5%. FHA is not only for first-time buyers. I repeat, FHA is not just for first-time buyers. If your first home was purchased with conventional finance, like I mentioned, there are situations where you may still qualify for FHA on the next primary residence, meaning 3.5%. And I know that surprises a lot of people. The other strategy that you may have is, here's people don't realize, you bought your first home by yourself. But now you are buying with a spouse or partner, and maybe they are a first-time buyer. In some situations, you can have a conventional loan with 3% down because they are co-signer and they are first-time buyers. Again, strategies matters because there are more possibilities than people realize. The bigger question, sometimes people ask, can I afford another house? But honestly, the better question is, what strategy would make the next house possible? So we got to think of strategy. Would keeping the current home help? Would a rental income help? Would equity help? Would a different loan structure help? Because sometimes people assume they're stuck when really they just haven't explored the options. People haven't given them all the options. Okay, I'm curious. If money wasn't the issue, I keep saying that, if money is not the issue, right? Would you keep your current house as a rental, move into a better fit, buy in a different area, or start building wealth through real estate? Go ahead, put your comment in there for me and tell me, what do you think is the biggest obstacle? Is it the down payment? Is it the monthly payment? Is it fear? Is it not knowing your option? So, all right. If somebody popped into your mind while you were listening to this, share this with them. Because chances are they have been thinking, there's no way I can afford another house. Or maybe you're an elderly person and you want to move in with your kids, and it's like, they keep saying it's not possible. Share this video with them and educate them, or vice versa. And really, they just don't know what possibilities and options are. I'm in the world of possibilities, so we'd love to connect with you. And let's see, one more topic before we go into my next live, which is the mystical Christelle. If you haven't joined my other live, feel free to do so. This is Christelle, Sacred Home with Christelle. The other one is Christelle Sacred Home. Very easy. All right. Last topic for today. If you're thinking about buying investment property but worried about making an expensive mistake, but honestly, I've seen some people lose money, sell properties too quickly, or completely miss opportunities simply because nobody explained the strategy. So let me say this. Most investors, most first-time investors, are not making bad decisions. They're just missing information. So please comment invest if owning real estate has ever crossed your mind, and share this with someone. You may help their future. Okay. Keeping your current home and potentially buying your next home with low down payment options. And that naturally leads to the following topic. Mistakes. Mistake number one. Think you need 20 to 25% down to start. So many people think investing in real estate or investment property is for the rich people, or they need $100,000 sitting in the bank. And honestly, sometimes people are trying to jump straight into being an investor when there are some strategies and paths that can help you. Owning your current home, you locked at a great rate. Moving to your another primary residence, keep your down payments low and keep the interest rates as a primary residence, always with the intent of at least staying in the property for at least 1 year. That surprises a lot of people. So don't assume investing requires huge down payment. Mistake number two, buying emotionally instead of looking at the numbers. Okay, can we be honest for a second? Well, I'm always wanting to be honest, but just for this moment, right? Some people buy investment properties like they're shopping for their forever dream home. The backsplash, love the furniture. Meanwhile, the numbers aren't working. Here's the truth. Investors buy based on math. You have to ask, what would the rent be? Property taxes, insurance, HOA. HOAs are important. Repairs, vacancy, restrictions, especially if someone is saying, I'll buy it for Airbnb. Do your homework. All right, mistake number three, draining all your savings. This is a big one. People put every dollar into closings, and then life happens. AC breaks, roof issues, tenant moves out, unexpected repair, and suddenly stress. Well, we always have stress, right? But suddenly extra stress. Because here's the truth, the goal isn't just getting the property. The goal is keeping that property. Having reserve matters, especially early on. All right, mistake number four, selling a low interest rate property too fast. This one hurts really because sometimes people say, we're moving, so obviously we have to sell. But do you? Not always. Because of course, every situation is different. But sometimes the better question is, could this become your first rental? Especially if you have a great interest rate, decent equity, and rental potential. Because let me ask you something. If someone else paid your mortgage for the next 15 years, would that be of interest to you? I'm not saying this is for everyone, but it's worth exploring. All right, mistake number 5. Couple more mistakes that I'm going to share. But number 5, waiting for the perfect time. This sounds like I'll buy when the rates will drop. I'll wait until prices change. Maybe next year. And honestly, no one has a crystal ball. My name is Crystal, and people in the US call me Crystal. I do not have a crystal ball. But the question isn't, is the market perfect? The question is, does the strategy make sense for you? Because people sometimes can refinance later, negotiate better today, sell a concessions huge right now, and build equity while waiting. So timing matters, but the strategy matters even more. Should we go to a couple of more mistakes? Let's do one more. Mistake number 6, talking to Zillow before talking to the lender. Can we laugh about this one? Because people spend hours online saving homes, dreaming, planning, and then ask, can I even do this? Honestly, strategy comes first because there may be options you don't even know existed. Okay, I'll keep strategy number 2, mistake number 7 for next time. Thinking real estate investing is only for wealthy people. It's not. That's why I'm here educating you guys. All right. So before I drop, because my guest speaker on my next, Irene, just go ahead and let her know that I'll be right with her. So engage. I want you to go ahead and engage with me. I want your engagement. Why? Because it helps me know what you are looking for, what questions you may have. So I am curious, which mistakes surprise you the most? Thinking you need huge money, buying emotionally, draining savings, selling too quickly, waiting for the perfect time, Zillow, like house window shopping type strategy, and thinking investing is only for the wealthy ones. So please go ahead and drop your number in this order or just the words. Okay. If you've ever thought about owning investment properties, just even a little, yes or no, go ahead. Let's connect. Let's just talk the possibilities. I encourage you again, subscribe to this channel so I can keep on sharing information here, but also I transfer this information to Facebook and Instagram so that I can provide education solutions. All right, so that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you guys at the next live. I am logging off. Nice last set.